place. Someone flicks me a back body. So, it's another one, yeah. It's a full span, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
Hello, good evening and welcome. Five fans is here. It's Hard Talk USA. I'm back with my co-host, the one and only Jams Boxing Chat. How are you, sir?
I am good, thank you, Mr. Neutral. Blessed to be on your show as per, my brother.
It's always a pleasure, mate. Hard Talk USA, we bring it to the fans. And this show is sponsored by... Oh, there it is. Our brand new video from D-Rock, our proud sponsors of the show tonight. And we're joined on the show by the one and only. Announce yourself, sir. Remy's Corner Talks. There he is.
We're doing great, mate. Thanks.
Was I muted for
yeah, how'd you like the video, mate?
It was good, bro. I was like, oh, snap. This is dope. It's dope. I like it.
And don't forget, guys, in the audience and watching the video, you can get 40% off by putting in the promo code in the website, anything you want to order. 40% off, can you believe it? By putting iBoxingHub 24 in that box and enjoy. Well, tonight, gentlemen, we've got another Hard Talk USA show coming up. And the topics tonight, obviously, you all know what's been happening in the Olympics and around the Twitter world. Paris 24. There's nothing like a controversy in the Olympics, and once again, it has come to the fore. Imani Khalif and the Chinese Taipei or stroke Taiwanese. That's the one. Thank you, Jams, as
Taiwan.
ever, with the facts. Both boxers were actually banned by the IBA in 2023 at the Indian World Championships. And this came about, if you're not aware of the situation, guys, that on the day of the Russian defeat to Khalif, the Algerian boxer, Umar Kremlev, the IBA Russian-led CEO, wanted both boxers who had won their titles, won their bouts and were about to go for medals as well. Both boxers were given a test. Now, this test was not a chromosome or a testosterone test, but an alternative test, of which the results were never published. And it's only come to light now that Miss Khalif is, in fact, a natural-born female, but does suffer from a condition called DSD. And quite to be clear, its initials is CEH. Maybe, Jams, can you abbreviate that, what it means? But it's something to do with androgen receptors.
I can't abbreviate what that means, but she's got a disease. Both ladies have a disease called hypoandrogenism, which means that they're born with lady parts. They're born as females. They don't have male parts, no testicles, no penis, but they are born with massive levels of testosterone. So they are literally, they've got the same testosterone as a male. And that's why they failed their test in New Delhi.
Right. Well, they see raised levels. Now, raised levels is, I wouldn't exactly say is a man's level, because that'd be quite something. She'd be growing beards and everything, mate. But
I don't want to be rude, but
the argument on Twitter was, why is a man beating on a woman?
I don't want to be rude. I don't want
the
to be
Admiral
rude, but have you
is
seen
what?
one of them? Like, one of them's literally got a goatee and that, you know what I mean? Oh, I was jealous of her
Jesus.
beard, mate. I was going to ask her what she uses to condition
No,
that shit.
look, neutral. I
Remy,
try
can
not
you
to
believe
laugh.
this,
Now
man?
you fucking funny.
Sorry, Remy. I was doing the same at first, bro, but
You
Right,
said you
so
weren't trying to be rude, bro. That's all I can ask of you,
that's it. Go on. Sorry,
he's
Mr.
got
Neutral.
me
Carry
up.
on, bro.
Yeah, he's put me right off there.
I'm sorry, brother.
So
Never my
basically, she's a
intention.
female. She's a female born with um, genitalia, if they want for a better word, that may be overdeveloped. Hence, pictures you might have seen of people claiming that they're seeing swinging parts. Now, I have no problem with Miss Khalif. Now, what the new problem is they're now accepting that Miss Khalif is now a miss. They're accepting the fact that she has a disorder as well as this other boxer, but now they're saying that because she went through puberty, her bone density would be that of would be stronger than your average female. Now, I'm no medical science expert, but that would suggest, along with the raised testosterone levels, that if there is indeed an unfair advantage in some people's eyes. But I go back to her record. 50 fights. Jams, do you know what this record is?
51 fights, 5 knockouts, something like that, innit? She only got 5 knockouts, Ali Khalif.
5 knockouts and 9 defeats.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't scream manpower
Neutral, can I
to
interrupt
me.
just 1 second, sir? But
On you go.
just because this female who has these heightened genes and has these heightened testosterone and could have
Yeah.
the potential for the extra power, just because this one doesn't mean the next doesn't, or the next one after that, or the next one after that, or the next one after that. Where
Fair
where
point.
does it end?
This
One
is
day there
where
might be one like comes out like Deontay Wilder and starts cleaning these girls' clocks, and then one of them dies in the ring and women's boxing's cancelled. What we're gonna say? Oh, we could have dealt with this in 2024.
and this is where they should deal with it.
That is a different way to look at it. I tried to reserve like my judgment on the entire situation until I got all the information possible, and I think it is kind of it's kind of sad how Amani Khalif could be like perceiving this situation, because people are basically denying her gender and she's actually born female. So I know that's kind of probably like upsetting for her right now. And if I'm not mistaken, the fighter Angela Karina that she fought came out and basically apologized, right, about the situation. So it makes it even more messed up, because it's like you got punched one time and then it's like all this snowballed into this. So it's like a lot of divide in the situation whereas a lot of people who still got the information are rolling with it. Like it just, the ball went rolling. And something, again, it's crazy when stuff in boxing goes so viral, because, we all are a niche little community. So when stuff like this is just like widespread, it's crazy because so many people jumped out the window discussing it and they don't really have the information. So it's
the first time she'd been stopped in 81 fights, by the way. Carini, first time she'd ever been stopped in 81 fights.
But Jams, I think the Italians, I think, this is just my opinion, does not reflect on iBoxingHub whatsoever.
I think she was making a point.
I think the Italian camp fully politicized that staged event.
Yeah, she was making a point.
She was
making
told,
a point of it.
Go out there, take one punch, come out.
I think she took
you've done your job.
6 seconds, 2 punches, one over and then one under, and she went, no, I don't want to know, and then cried her eyes out.
There's claims of broken noses and everything. Her nose is just fine, by the way.
The nose was fine. She didn't get hit on the nose. It was around the side of the head and around the back of the body.
So for me, that was a total stage political value event by the Italians that backfired.
Which is banned in the Olympics, by
the
the way.
Apology.
You're not allowed to make political statements.
Going back, Jams, very quickly, we want to move on from this subject very quickly as well. There does need to be clearer clarification of what is accepted within all of the disorders that any human being can have, either male or female. They need to have these in clarity for the layman to understand, like ourselves, and, you know, to say, well, we can make a balanced judgment on this. I do feel very sorry for the lassie involved. It's not her fault. She's been victimized, vilified, and
She's done nothing
she's
wrong,
now
Mr. Neutral.
She's
Yeah.
now
Done
walking
nothing
around
wrong.
the Olympic. She's now walking around the Olympic camp with an armed guard. That's how sad the situation is. And there's been top politicians in this country have just been pure disgusting in the way they have treated this young lassie. And I wish her all the luck. But the Olympic Committee do need to make something in place for LA 2028. Now, let's move
There's
on.
going to be no boxing then anyway, so it doesn't matter, does it? As it stands, there's no boxing in LA, so it doesn't matter.
I'm pretty sure Tucky Al Sheikh will have something to do with that.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Sure.
I'm talking of the big Tucky Al Sheikh. What a card we have tomorrow night,
His
gentlemen.
Excellency, the
Remy,
saviour. The
I
saviour of the
need to
sport.
come to you first. I need to establish from yourself, being a man from across the pond with your absolutely magnificent scope on everybody's opinions over there in your spaces. You talk to them all, Remy. What are they saying about this card? Is this card the biggest in America has seen in at least a couple of decades?
So I would say no. To be honest, people haven't been raving over it ever since Virgil and Tim Tszyu were taken off the card. That kind of completely changed the dynamic of the card. It is a great card. I personally like the card, but I do believe a few of those fights on the card are could be mismatches, or there are much more interesting matchups that I feel could be made within this year that would easily trump this card. But it definitely is one of the best cards. Depending on how the fights play out, we would have to compare, to me, to that Tank Frank Martin card. I think those fights, the way they played out that night, that was a great card. I have to sit back and think about all the cards that were this year to really see, but that was a card I enjoyed recently. Seeing Bud Crawford against Madrimov, my only thing is, like, I'm not underestimating Madrimov in this situation, but I just feel like Bud's a terrible matchup for him, and what Bud brings to the table, I think, of course, Madrimov will be strong and tricky early. He's not no slouch at all. He got good feet. He knows how to get inside, but sometimes he lunges and reaches. How you doing? He lunges and reaches though, and I think that's going. You know how Bud does when you reach, he's gonna teach. He's literally one of the best counter punchers in the game, and it's like he's downloading data. He's the matrix. He's the real matrix. Once you are doing something 2 and 3 times, the only fighters I see that capitalize off someone having a repetitive offense is Tank and Bud. Like, they are gonna hurt you off you doing, showing them too much of the same thing. So I feel like that's gonna happen to Madrimov. He hasn't been in there with someone this high level with high IQ. He is a tough out though. I think he's gonna be a tough out early for Bud simply because of the weight. Bud adjusting getting the cobwebs off and just being against a bigger man mainly. I think the fact that he's bigger will play a factor for a bit, and then Bud will take over the fight in the middle rounds or so, start countering him, and I don't think Madrimov will be able to weather the storm. The exciting matchup to me though, Neutral, and I wanted to talk to you about this one. I'm gonna skip a couple of them by talking about this one first, but to me, I'm looking at Jared Anderson and Bakole, because I think Jared Anderson should beat him. But Bakole has gotten better too. I've seen him getting better. So what do you think about that fight?
Great fight. Jared Anderson, he's now got a defining fight that you can probably judge. Should he come through, how good he is, who'd he fare well against. But before I do that, I just want to read out a couple of messages on their thing. We got Boxing Magic, Mexico, Viva Canelo, King of Boxing. Salute to you, sir. Thank you for coming through. David Rose, hello, gents. Hello to you, sir. Karma Serene. Well, good evening to you, my lady from over in the United States. Thank you for joining us. So, going back to your point there, Remy.
Thanks for joining. But yeah,
I like
about the
Jared Anderson. For me, he's like the USA version of AJ in a sense. Both magnificently built units of men. They've got the skills, but for me, there seems to be a similarity on the mental side of things. Would that be a fair comment? Or am I being harsh on Jared, considering that some of the things he's come out with on Twitter and is his heart in it?
You're being light on him. To be honest with you, and not to disrespect him, but he does idiotic shit to me. Like he does a lot of stuff that I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's the purpose behind that? So to say, on the mental side, and it's not similar to AJ's. I feel like AJ's is a bit more like in the ring mental, whereas Jared's is out of the ring mental. Like, so in
distracted
the fights,
by outside forces.
Exactly. And just like his youth, you could tell his youth is like very a part of his, like the reason he thinks how he thinks. He doesn't really like the stuff he tries to portray across, knowing the stature he has in boxing. Like you could be one of the next great American heavyweights. Like he doesn't carry it that way, and he doesn't care to. That's another thing. He doesn't care to at all. When they asked him, I just seen a clip of Dan Canobio asking him, what did he think he'd be doing with his life if not boxing? And he said dead or in jail. Like, and he said it in a gleeful, like joking way. Like he didn't like that wasn't, a weird, touchy subject to throw that out there in a joking way. I don't know. Certain stuff he does, it makes me question if down the line, what would he be in boxing? I don't know. I'm not all the way sold on him. I'm not. Just because of that lack of concentration.
No, I want to bring in Jams about Bakoli and Jared before I give my prediction and thing. Jams, I want to hear what you got to say about it.
Okay, mate. Thank you, Mr. Neutral. Thank you, Remy. I appreciate what Remy's saying for sure, man. Jared Anderson just doesn't seem, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to want it enough. He always seems to me like he's giving the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Like he's not really trying. He just fiddles his way to these cheap, like Riyadh Mary and that. I know he gets there and he gets the result, but he's boring, man. He's fucking boring.
That was a dog shit fight, James.
It really was. I don't know what you're like, mate. I was falling asleep while doing it, Remy. Honestly, honestly, mate. If he wants to be the next big American dream and all this that he talks about when he's not in the ring, he needs to start putting his boxing together and start putting some punches out and actually go for a knockout or try and do something. Because all he seems to do is fiddle his way to these cheap ass wins. He's fucking boring, but I think he'll still. Trey ain't gonna like this, Al Heyman, but I think he still fiddles his way to a victory here. I think he'll get the decision, but it'll be boring as fuck. It'll be mind-numbing, but Jared Anderson will still come out the winner.
Mind-numbing. I love it, Jams.
Serious. That's why he is, mate. He's the most boring one I've ever watched.
Jams, he fights like a middleweight, bro, and he pulls his head back a lot. He does a lot of things that I could see him getting hurt by someone with really like a extended reach advantage to where they can always touch him. Like the guys like AJ and stuff like that, I think he may have a better chance against them because he can get inside. But someone rangy like a Jalalov or something like that, it's just like that's a bad matchup for him.
Even Fury, man. I think Fury knocks him out. And Fury's a bag of crap at the moment.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about this version of Fury.
He's got the long arms though. I don't know. Jared's just boring. Let's be truthful.
I just don't think Fury's got that power anymore. But he's
Fury always struggles with smaller guys. Pause.
Very much. Here's what I think. I think Jared Anderson. This is one big true test of his career so far. Martin Bakoli, 200. He's coming at 301 pound for this fight. He's lost 30 pounds since the Mahi fight. I thought, sorry, not Mahi. His last fight, who was that against James Bakoli? Anyway, you knocked him out.
I don't actually know, mate. To be honest, I did watch it, but I can't remember right now.
It was a brutal knockout. Anyway, I feel that Jared is untested with both chin and true grit and heart, and I think Bakoli will bring that out in him. For me, he's got the skills, Jared. Is whether he's got the head. That'll come into play tomorrow night. But
Carlos Takam.
There you go. Yeah. So I'm for me, he has to stay away from that big right hand of Bicoli's. If he does that, he takes it on points. I can't see him knocking out Bicoli, but
I feel like Bicoli
I can see
eventually.
Yeah, I think, and the later rounds, I can see Jared coming on and pinching the rounds and make a comfortable unanimous decision for me on that one.
And
that's on my parlay.
Or not. He'll get the decision.
Yeah,
in the States, isn't it?
That's on my parlay for on my accumulator for a unanimous decision.
Haven't you switched yours up now, Mr. Neutral, though? Ain't you going now for
talk the betting. Going back to the Madrimov fight. Last week I tweeted.
The only Jared may be able to stop Bicoli is because Bicoli gets tired as fuck. And I think he's going to have to be active to get after Jared. So I could see him getting tired kind of early, like between like 6 and 8, and be like dead gassed like in the later rounds.
Yeah.
There, that's what I think could end up happening.
I just don't want another Charles Martin type of performance from Jared. Yeah. So
I think he's gonna box on his toes.
So yes. I tweeted last week that Madrimov. I felt because I feel I haven't been keeping up with Terence. I will be truthful. I just accept that he's that good. That's what it is. And but on the fight night, anything can happen. Madrimov will prove to be his toughest fight in his career. Errol Spence, all the names that he's got on his Kell Brooks and all that. This is going to be nothing compared to this guy. Power-wise, sheer shock pressure movement. He'll cut the corner off as well if he can with Crawford. Crawford's not known for magic slick defense. He has been known to get hit. He does get hit every fight. However, he's got a get out clause. Always, he's like Tank. They get the get out clause in fights. They are maybe not as doing well as they think they are. And they get told, "Oh, you're behind on points." Whoa, am I? Watch this. Bang, next round. That's what Terence Crawford frightened the life out of me. And couple that, Remy, that the man from Omaha has beaten Eddie Hearn at darts. His family own English darts. And that was a betrayal by Eddie Hearn to lose to the man from Omaha, Nebraska. Look at him. Cocky bastard. All that flannel, all that patter, all that talk. And he lets his country down. When I seen that, the accuracy that Terence Crawford shown on throwing a treble 19 and a double 8 get out, mate, the boxing gods have spoken to me and they went, "Steve, that's my name. Cancel the fucking bets quickly."
Hey,
it's not going to happen.
You heard about Eddie wanting to run for Prime Minister? What do you think of that?
Well, he can't do any worse than the current ones, mate. That's for sure. He can't do any worse
than the cunts that are running this country, this shithole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
that bloody kids getting stabbed up in Southport and stuff, you know what I mean?
Tragic events.
A lot of Eddie Stable been getting their ass whooped lately, but he's been doing great with recruiting good talent. He's been doing great.
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about Crawford now. If he wins this fight, then surely, and Malik, I know you're in the chat, come through. If he wins this fight, surely the 14 pound to go up to Canelo shouldn't be a problem. And therefore, Turki Al-Sheikh should get his wish for that fight. Do you think it's viable?
No, I don't think Madrimov is any indication look, it's two ways this could be viewed to me. I don't think that him being Madrimov is any indication he could be Canelo, but I also I forgot what guy it was, what boxing publication. Excuse me, you could probably go look this up on YouTube, but someone said that it was actually Eddie. Oh, it was Eddie. Eddie said that he feels like Canelo is not trying to fight people that can fight on the outside right now. Like he feels like and if he won't give Bud that opportunity, I think that's the biggest money fight. Like while everyone keeps talking about David, I feel like the biggest money fight is Bud and Canelo. You know what I'm saying? After the fight with Errol Spence, Errol was already in line to get a Canelo fight. So
that's right, yeah.
I think it's only right since he won that he get that fight. If he goes up to 54, he dominates. I think Canelo should meet him. I think he should meet him at like 64, but of course he's not going to do that. That's why Bud even was saying he'd go to 68. But I think that may be too big of a jump for Bud. I don't know, but I would like to see it because I do think Bud could box his way. And
that is exactly the narrative and rhetoric that boxing Twitter will produce come Saturday night after Terence Crawford, especially if he knocks out Madrimov. That the clamour, can you imagine the clamour from all the casuals, from your boxing reporters will be wanting that Canelo fight next for Bud. Let's see. Let's go on to the next fight on that card. Jams.
You going for the Andy Ruiz, Big Baby Miller?
Let's do it.
Go on then. So who's going to win this one? I've got Andy Ruiz knocking out Big Baby. I think Big Baby got beat by Daniel Dubois. I don't think he's been decent for a while. I think he's a fat, overhyped, drugs cheap waste man. And I think Andy Ruiz is going to roll back them years and do what he done to AJ and break this man. What's your thoughts on that, Remy?
You hilarious, James. You fucking hilarious. But I think my thoughts kind of lined up with you too, bro. Because, I'm always on the fence about shit, bro. But I think Andy could pull it off. But I also do feel like Andy is a slacker, bro. Like Andy is a fucking slacker, bro. Like that's the only.
Come on, Remy.
Because Andy Ruiz is a fucking slacker, bro. He's like, he does, let's be honest, bro. He does fat kid shit, bro. Like, he moves like that. That's why he lost the second fight against AJ. He wasn't ready for an adjustment. He lived off that first win. And what he could have been, we will never know now just because he didn't take that second fight serious just because he stopped AJ. So, like, what I seen in the Areola fight was, like, again, a fighter who doesn't take each opponent 100% serious. Like, he took AJ serious in the first fight. Like, he let up against Joseph Parker. I felt like he could have, like, put his stamp on that fight, and he didn't try to. For me, that fight was a toss-up, but he could have did more to really win that fight. Andy Ruiz is always show inconsistency, bro. So a fight like this where he's expected to win, I could see him fucking boofing it. Like, and he might skirt by it, but it's going to be like he's going to fight to Big Baby's level. That's what I think is going to
happen. Do you think he can knock out Big Baby Miller? Because that's not been done yet.
Well, Dubois stopped him.
Stopped him, but didn't knock him out.
Yeah,
Dubois can crack though, bro. Dubois can crack though.
Accumulation of punches can still be a stoppage. It's still classed as a TKO, isn't it?
It certainly is. Right. Sorry, mate. On you go.
Relies on a good shot. Like I feel like with AJ, like, honestly, AJ is like he's a little chinny, bro. Like he can get hurt. You know what I'm saying? AJ's a little chinny. So when Andy Ruiz knocked him out, he's hurt a few people since, but he hasn't really like been a one-punch knockout type of guy. He can hit though. So I could see him pulverizing Big Baby Miller because that hand speed. But again, he's a slacker, bro. So that's always like in the back of my head that he could really go into this fight bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get a few comments from the audience there, from the chat. Malik Brown says, I would love to see Bud with Tim Zhu, Virgil Ortiz, or Vandora. I don't think any of them guys have got a chance. Bud's on a very tight time frame. BMO being sold out, by the way, gentlemen, tonight. It was announced, so that's a good factor. Although we don't know how many are actual.
Yeah, and there's about 2,000 tickets available on Ticketmaster as resales, by the way.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of resale buys there. Now, Mr. Stout, big up to you in the house. He says big up to everyone. Ruiz, Murray Brown Ruiz is coming in his second heaviest with Big Baby. He's coming 300 pounds. There he is. Brand new British citizen. Rico.
Is that official now, Rico?
No Smokes Boxing's Mr. Big Time. How you doing, big fella?
I think Rico's on mute.
Yeah.
He was on mute.
Right. I was like, I was really cooking and shit, bro. Oh, okay.
No. Your mom, I'm like, why the fuck you not here?
Now, big up. By
the way, production, if you can throw the StreamYard link into the chat, let people come through. Let's have a wee chat. Rico, I don't know if you've been keeping up with what's going on here, but we're talking about this card tomorrow. We've just been talking about Jared Anderson and Bacoli. Now it's Big Baby Miller versus Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, for me, like Remy says, he could do it with one punch. What's your thoughts?
I think that anybody in attendance needs to be able to know the earliest and quickest fire exits available to them when Jarrell Miller and Andy Ruiz get into the ring. I feel like that fight is one of the heaviest heavyweight bouts. You know when they say when giants collide? Fuck's sake. And he got caught, and Andy got caught with a hot dog by Jarrell Miller. You know, like himself, boxing, man. I love boxing. Like honestly,
Jarrell himself caught him. Brilliant. That's why we love boxing. Hot dog king. And for me, sorry, mate. I was took in by this EI picture of Andy Ruiz. Were you took in by the same one, Rico? Because he hasn't lost a fucking pound.
No, because you fall victim to the same nonsense as you. This guy is the biggest fucking catfish I've ever seen in my life, bro. Like where there's a quinceañera, you'll see Ruiz there in the back just eating the niblets, like in the corner of the thing. I'm very disappointed in Ruiz, man, because why I'm pissed off is because obviously I'm a massive Anthony Joshua fan. Anthony Joshua got me into the sport properly. But when he got beat by Ruiz, and I had to walk home at 6 a.m. in the morning, furious. No one will ever know that struggle. So for him to just take the fucking piss and just eat and just do this nonsense and all this type of stuff while having a dub over AJ, it angers me as the founder of the Back the Brit Society. We never got it back in blood. AJ just went there to Saudi and
just have to big up for that. He is the president.
Thank you very much.
Vote.
Yeah, but no, I want KO. I want straight out cold in the whole thing. I would like, and this is where I question myself as a human and my morals, because I would like a banned drug cheat who's come back into the sport to KO Ruiz for my own agenda. Like, I don't know. What do I?
For your own agenda, you want a drug cheat to knock out.
No Big Baby Miller knocking out Andy Ruiz. The Destroyer has to win this. Otherwise, AJ's lost with Wayne, bro.
The only bad part, Rico, is Big Baby can't punch. So you're like, damn, there's shit out of luck. He cannot punch like that. So
no, but that's not your. All right, we need to. If we're analyzing this, we need to see the level of fat that Ruiz is on, because that dictates his performance in the ring. Now he's coming
to create second heaviest, 272 pounds. of
you want me to break it down?
Ruiz.
Big Baby is 304 though. It's 2 tanks.
No, but
this is part of the bulge.
But let me, guys.
This the Fat Man Championship of the world, really.
No, but guys. But baby, he's lost 60 pounds of water weight or whatever was in there, right? And he slimmed down, looks amazing, and he's still 305 pounds. Wow. Now, when we're looking at Andy Ruiz, because like, if I can, please, Neutral, this is obviously your platform. I just like to put the science.
I'll mute. Go on.
No, just a little bit of science, and I'll pass it on to the next. Okay. Now, if Andy's coming, can somebody tell me what he's weighed in?
274.
274.
Sorry.
Christ. This is amazing. Now, if we look at the Anthony Joshua fight and how he came in there. Now what he did after, he put a series of catfishing, pictures out there just to show some slim things. Maybe even got his guy to add AJ's, just in there just to dissuade. But it didn't work. But in terms of Jarrell Miller, just off skill alone, and Andy Ruiz coming in at that weight, his body is literally used to. I don't know if you guys know what a piston is when it comes back and forth. No, because this is the keys to victory. No, guys, wait. Let me just land. 2 seconds. Like, this is so important because I know that he's come in serious, even though he was caught having a hot dog. I mean, we've all, like, I'm not going to crucify the guy. I've done the same thing. Whatever. He's come in at a weight where his body is off of muscle memory. I call it muscle memory, off of cellulite memory, where it can distribute that weight in quickness, thus giving him the speed to defeat Jarrell Big Baby Miller. I think the science that you guys have. I'm very confident that Ruiz is back.
I think he wins. I agree with you. I think he wins.
I absolutely.
Do you agree in the science? You agree that him being?
I do.
That having
the fatness is his key to victories. Welcome to the show, Mr. Styles. How are you, mate?
And Virtuoso.
I'll come to him in a minute.
I'm good. How are you?
Viso in the house as well. Good to have you with us, mate. Hello. You've been listening in, guys. Give us your quick predictions. First, Madrimov and Crawford, Big Baby Miller, Jared Anderson, and or Piccoli rather, and Miller Ruiz.
Crawford for me.
Yeah. How?
TKO.
Stoppage, right? Go on.
Yeah, stoppage. I say he gets him out of there probably by the 6th round. Wouldn't be surprised.
As early as that, right? Okay, good shout. Viso, how do you see that fight going?
I can see it going 2 ways. I can see it going as a Crawford TKO or a Crawford clear unanimous decision. This is his first fight at 154, and this is his fight against somebody his own size. Might be bigger, but I never seen this guy get hurt. I never seen this guy get knocked out. But it could be a first time for everything. But I'm not surprised if Crawford gets a clear unanimous decision or he does knock him out TKO. I'll probably say in the later rounds. But is there any other fight that you what was the other fight that you wanted me to predict?
Miller and Ruiz and Piccoli and maybe I've got that the wrong way around.
I'll go with Ruiz. I'll go Ruiz against Baby Miller.
Yeah.
Inactivity aside, I think Ruiz still has I think he still maintains the skill set to put punches together, whereas Jerome Miller has to build up his offense. He is kind of a slow start, and especially since he's off the juice, he's not much of a combination puncher, because he does need that in order to keep pace with his fighters, his opponents. But I got Ruiz in that one, and listen, I know people got the bookies got Anderson to win, but I think we might go for an upset here. I think Bacoli might win this one.
There is that consensus here as well, that Bacoli could be the one to end Jared Anderson's 0 record, 0 defeats. Welcome to the show, Matt Brown from Brunch Boxing. There he is. Welcome to the show, mate. Space King of the USA. How are you?
Hey, what's good, Neutral, man? I appreciate you for having me on, man. And shout out to all the fellas on here. I see Jams, I see Remy, Virtuoso, Rico.
Salute,
Shout
Brunch.
out to all you guys, man. It's a big boxing weekend, man. Big boxing weekend. The return of Terrence Crawford. I heard you guys talking about Bacoli versus Jared Anderson. Listen, the time for Jared Anderson to put up or shut up is now. He's finally fighting someone. Yeah, he's finally fighting someone that can punch back. So we'll see what he got. Bacoli, while I'm not a fan of him as a person, he is a decent heavyweight. He's come forward. He likes to slug it out. He likes to bang with you. So I would love to see how Jared Anderson reacts to that kind of pressure being put on him. And the question will finally be answered. Is Jared Anderson the next great American heavyweight? I suspect the answer is no, but I will get a better barometer on where he is at in his career tomorrow night.
Yeah,
I said exactly the same
boring,
thing.
Isn't he? He's boring. Jared Anderson is
but I said
boring.
exactly the same thing. This is the marker fight for Jared Anderson moving forward, whether it's worth putting him in with the big boys. Let's see, Remy. Let's talk about.
No, I wanted to add one more thing to that too. I don't like just his demeanor throughout this. It's like he just going through the motions. He don't ever give me the impression that he's focused. Do y'all get what I'm saying when y'all see him? He don't ever give me the impression he's focused. And Bacoli just got he know this is a big ass opportunity for him. Like if he beats Jared, oh man, he's gonna get a big ass fight next. He's gonna get a check, like for sure.
Yeah.
So that's another factor into this too that I think is
it'd be on another Turkey card for sure, because he does love his winning heavyweights. Rico, you know Turkey better than anybody here. Will he be loyal to the winner?
Jams, you might just mute that.
Jams having a problem with Savage's dog.
Sorry, Stevie, do you mind running that question back? I just died a little bit.
I was saying, Turkey Al-Sheikh, he loves his heavyweights. He is loyal to winning heavyweights. He gets them back on his cards. Whoever wins on this card is in for a big payday. Who moving forward can you see would be an ideal? Let's take it that Jared Anderson's going to win for the USA. What sort of fight is he going to get next on a Turkey card? Do you think?
I don't know, because if I'm honest, then I have a top 5 of nations and countries that I love and hold dear in terms of the people in them, and America is number 2. I just, in that same sense, I feel a slight bit of heartbreak in the sense of the 90s, where you had the Mercers and the Bows and everything. Anderson has not excited me in the least in terms of the consistency of his performances. They've been very lackluster. The last one, I think I got the highlights today, wasn't that great. I think the you know, we're actually in a chat. I don't know if we created the chat at that point, but the man who I rate so much, Charles Martin, over there in America, who I feel is so disrespected, disgusting. Remy, by the way, it's good to have you and Matt here to tell you both right there. In real life, K. Charles Martin.
Every AJ scalp. I know what you're doing, Rico.
Is that okay? Can I finish my point? Is that okay? All right. Sorry. So from what I was saying, Charles Martin, a former world champion, exceptional career in hindsight. Anderson should really make quick work of a Charles Martin. And the fact that he didn't, it leads me to believe that, and also, and I just want to say that I also am an advocate in terms of mental health, jokes aside. In all seriousness, it's a real thing. However, in terms of the situation with him and Roy Jones, I don't know if I would cry in front of Roy Jones, bro. And I've been in front of like Duran. I cried then.
I believe Roy Jones has cried before, so I think that'd be perfectly acceptable to him.
Well, who did he cry in front of?
I'm sure I've seen a picture
the
of Roy
Olympics
Jones.
in '88.
That's the one. See,
yeah, it's not
by
the same
all the
thing,
greats,
though,
Mayweather, they've all done it. Haney's, they've all cried.
Okay, all right.
Look, shows that you believe in yourself.
I'm not.
That doesn't mean that just shows the passion and the emotion that they put into it, the value,
and
everything.
That's what makes me want to believe that Jared Anderson is the next great American hope. That's what makes me. It makes me feel like if he does move past Bacoli, and you guys know how much respect I have for Bacoli for what he's done for me and England in terms of vanquishing the Frenchman to Talworth Leisure Centre.
But he's a bit of a beast, so we won't praise him too much.
All I can say, Padre. All I can say, Padre, is the inconsistent. The inconsistency of his performances lead me to believe that he will possibly get chinned tomorrow. I believe in the 9th or the 10th round.
Yeah. Nobody likes a beast. I hope Jared Anderson knocks him the fuck out. Production, can we have the card up again, please? I want to go on to the next fight.
Pitbull Cruz neutral.
Pitbull Cruz versus Valecano.
Valenzuela.
Is that his name? Valenzuela. There you go. Thank you, James.
Neutral.
Tomorrow night.
Sorry.
On you go, sir.
You mind if I add just something real quick about the Jared Anderson fight?
On you go, mate.
Okay, so we all agree that it's put up or shut up time for Jared Anderson against Martin tomorrow night. And his demeanor, like Rico said, and like just his demeanor leading up, like even how he got into Eddie Hearn's face, I'm just like, are you really all focused? Like this is one of the biggest opportunities of your career tomorrow night, and you're acting like you've already become undisputed world champion. You're acting like I get you have to believe in yourself, but your last few fights have not been that impressive. So if he can beat Martin Bacoli in an emphatic statement tomorrow night, I see him fighting his next fight. I could see him fight Joseph Parker for the interim WBO heavyweight title. I mean, I could see that on one of Alex Sheik's cards. I could see that, but he's got to really put that stamp of approval that really, right on that fight. If not, Martin's gonna knock him out, and then I could see Martin challenging Joseph Parker. But that's just something I wanted to add on.
And that's a good point. That could be the incentive that both fighters need to make that a great battle tomorrow. On that card. So going to the Valenzuela versus Pitbull Cruz, this for me, actually, Jams, coming to you first, this for me is actually the one I'm looking forward to. I love wee Pitbull Cruz. I think he's a fantastic wee scrapper. His entertainment value is off the scale for me. The Tank fight was great. He went the distance. The only man who survived the Tank knockout in a long time. What you see? Do you see a nice win, easy victory for Pitbull, or do you see a very hard fight?
I tell you what, mate, I'm actually surprised by this one, Neutral, because I know you've got a lot of love for Isaac Cruz for Pitbull. You think he's the best at 140, don't you, at super light?
I certainly do.
I'm not sold on him, mate. I don't think he's all that. I really don't. And I think Valenzuela, looking at him at the weigh-in and that, at the presser, he looked like he was on it, mate. He looked like he was ready for war. And if there's going to be a surprise on the night, I think this is the one that will be the upset of the night. Valenzuela beating Isaac Cruz. That's my prediction for the upset of the night. So I'm going to have to go against you on this one, mate. I'm going to go, to be honest, in my heart, I think Pitbull wins, but I'm going to go Valenzuela gets to him.
Oh, big show. Remy, what do you say of that?
I don't think beating Rolly makes you good, mate.
What did you say?
Me and Jams are right here. I think the same shit, and I think was not being factored in at all. I do think him being a viable opponent for Tank is always going to get lost in the sauce, because for me, I feel like Tank would have whooped his ass if his hand didn't get hurt. And Tank posted a picture after the fight showing he had an injured hand. If I'm not mistaken, it happened midway through the fight, somewhere in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round, somewhere like that. So Tank didn't even have the time to really implement his game plan fully throughout, with both hands healthy in that fight. And Tank literally posted a picture of his hand fat as hell after the fight. I don't know if y'all remember that. But
doesn't that indicate, though, that Pitbull Cruz has got an iron chin and maybe Tank just can't knock him out?
Or it's because he's short and Tank wasn't used to fighting a shorter fighter. He was a replacement and Tank just punched him on the top of the head or some shit like that, or just took a bad angle when he threw a shot. So either way, though, I don't think that should lend credibility to Pitbull if we know that is a possibility. It's a possibility that win. I mean, the fact that he made it to 12 with Tank was because Tank's left hand was fucking hurt. And Rayo could very well be, he's bigger than him. He can punch too. I do think Rayo has showed he could be a little chinny. So but I do think that people are a little overselling it with Pitbull. I think Rayo's really live dog in this fight.
Okie dokie. Rico, what do you say, pal?
Thank you, Padre. First of all, can we just rewind this fucking disrespect to Rolly Romero? Former 140-pound WBA super champion. I feel the one thing that I dislike about us in terms of entities online, Remy, you have massive spaces and you have a platform and a responsibility, Remy, by the way. Matt, I see you there too, and etc. for everybody else. Why do we discard Rolly Romero? Why? He gave us an amazing fight against Gervonta Tank Davis. He was winning on the cards before the knockout, which could have happened to anybody, which has. I believe it's unfair. It's unjust. Remy, I'm looking at you personally and the LA hat. LA's not happy with what you just said there, buddy.
Rico, you really know how to polish a turd, don't you?
I was going to say, how did that fight end, Rico? How did that fight end?
What?
Rolly, he got knocked out, didn't he? So,
Mr. Styles, ignore Rico. Ignore Rico. Ignore the Rolly Romero shows. Let's get your Pitbull Valenzuela predictions, please.
I thought this was hard talk, uncensored.
I'm gonna come back to you. I need to give you the last word. So I'm gonna come back to you, my son from another father. So, Mr. Styles, give us your prediction, please, sir.
Okay. I think Pitbull takes it by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if Valenzuela, I can't pronounce his fucking name. Apologize. But I wouldn't be surprised if he could get the knockout, but I see Pitbull taking this by decision, to be honest.
Pitbull by decision. Viso, what are you saying, my man?
I can see Pitbull knocking out Valenzuela. You know.
Yes, baby. That's what I see.
He does run the risk of like, letting his hands go and then getting caught because he doesn't protect himself. So that could happen, man. So um even if that goes to a decision, that I still favor Cruz, you know. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
do
I'm
I.
going with that
So
guy.
do I.
Yeah.
Matt, you've got a. Are you going, by the way, to LA tomorrow night?
No, we have Ezra and Mike out there representing Brunch Boxing.
Ah, right. Ezra's doing the representation. Ezra, is he going for Pitbull in this or Valenzuela?
He's going for Pitbull, but for me, listen. I think Rayo is a better boxer. I think Rayo could crack also. Rayo is bigger, younger, and he might be stronger. The thing that Pitbull has over people is that he has that sudden style, that sudden power, the brawling power, and he has an excellent chin. His neck is as thick as a pit bull, for lack of a better term. So he does
Yeah.
have that going for him, and we have seen, like Remy said, Rayo has been chinny, but has he been chinny, or did he just get cracked, unexpectedly by Edwin De Los Santos? I kind of feel like Rayo has been rehabilitating his reputation to get to this point, and I think the young kid finally shows what PBC saw in him when they signed him. And I think, believe it or not, I think Rayo could get the stoppage in this fight.
There we go. There we
I,
go.
I got a question to ask, Matt.
I
Like,
agree with
do you
that.
think do you think do you think Rayo has like the cleaner work in there? Like, you think he had that, and when the judges acknowledge that?
Absolutely, he absolutely does. See, the thing about Pitbull, and this is why location matters where you're fighting, because different judges see different things and score different things. Or on the East Coast, say like New York or Philly, they're scoring, the pure boxer, the movement, and all that stuff. In Vegas, they favor more the aggressive style, which is why you saw Pitbull get that victory over who was it? Giovanni Cabrera, when a lot of people thought that he might have lost that fight, but his style scored points with those type of judges. To me, the California judges are much more, like you say, the cleaner work. They don't like the mauling style. They don't really score that, that well, which is why Jamel Charlo was up on the cards against Tony Harrison before he knocked out Tony Harrison in Ontario, California. And some people that was observing at home thought that Harrison should have been winning. But to me, Charlo, his style in that fight was just like the more cleaner, eye-catching punches. And I think that because Pitbull is so aggressive, he ends up smothering his work, and that's not going to help him with the judges. So even if it goes the distance, I think the judges, based upon what I've seen with the location, they're going to end up favoring Rayo style over Pitbull style.
Interesting. Rico, your time has come. Say what you got to say, brother. Where are you? Oh, he's not there.
I think he's gone to roll one, my brother.
Yeah. So, James, what's next on the card? We've got our predictions, I think, from everybody on that fight.
You've got the other Cruz. You got the other Cruz against Antonio Moran.
Andy Cruz and Antonio Moran. Andy Cruz, 3 fights, 3 wins, 1 by knockout. Straight into the big time. Let's start with you, Remy. I like Andy Cruz. I really do. Do you see the same things that I see in him?
Yeah, I think he's making the transition into the pros really well. Like being in Philadelphia with Bozy and I guess being around fighters like Boots and that camp, they really are refining his amateur style and making him punch better. You see the more aggressive style. Like he's not fighting like an amateur anymore so much. I think he's he transitioning well. He should whoop Antonio Moran's ass. He's a much better boxer, much better athlete. Moran blocks punches with his face. Like this should be a showcase fight for him for sure.
Thank you very much, Viso. What do you got to say about Andy Cruz?
Andy Cruz has transitioned well. This is a professional boxing man. I think I kind of agree with what Remy saying. Being with Bozy, helped him transition into that pro style where judges they tend to rate more damage and what the psychology of the fighter is and what they see with their eyes. With the amateur style, trying to poke them and stuff. But I'm not really. Who is he fighting right now? I forgot.
Antonio Moran.
Antonio Moran, right?
Who fought Jermaine Ortiz and Devin Haney, and I think.
Right. Antonio Moran, who was part of that highlight reel knockout, they lost to Devin Haney, man, crazy, and that was 5 years ago. But yeah, man, I don't think he's up to snuff with Andy Cruz, man. I got him. Stoppage or decision. Either way, I got Andy Cruz.
Thank you, my man. That is actually highlighted by Malik Brown in the comments there. Easy for Cruz. Matt, do you it seems to be a general consensus. Do you see the same thing? This is just a tune-up, and should be an easy victory, or fairly easy for Andy Cruz with his skill set.
They say it should be a tune-up, and we hope it's a tune-up. What I really am curious about, not with this particular fight, but with Andy Cruz in general, is he Andy Cruz or is he Andy Savannah Marshall? Okay, because from the time this guy turned pro, the only thing he is harping on is I beat Keyshawn Davis in the amateurs. I beat Keyshawn Davis in the amateurs. Well, let me tell you something. Nobody gives a damn because nobody knows who you are. Build your own name. This reminds me of when Savannah Marshall's whole claim to fame was I beat Clarissa Shields in the amateurs. So my thing is this. I understand, like, to some people, amateur matters, but in the country where Andy Cruz fights, which is the U.S., we don't give a damn about that at all. We want to know, are you somebody, first of all, that's going to win, and are you going to entertain while you win? So Andy Cruz, who still has that amateur style, I know he's with Bozy now, so hopefully he's learning from Bozy to sit on his punches. Andy Cruz, to me, has to get this guy out of there because this guy doesn't belong in the ring with you. With all the talent that you have, he doesn't belong in the ring with you. And the way I judge fighters, even when they're in squash matches, is when you have someone in the ring that doesn't belong with you in there, you better get them the hell out of there. So we'll see what Andy Cruz is made of, and we'll see if he'll continue to develop as a fighter or if he's just going to try to build his name off of his amateur victories over Keyshawn Davis.
Remember, though, Matt, the only person to stop this man is Devin Haney. Devin Haney's the only one to have stopped him.
So, Rico, you don't have to put your hand up, mate. Just shoot. Tell me what you think about anything.
Just for Matt, real quick. You said some mad disrespectful shit towards Savannah Marshall, bro. Just going back to that.
Back in the Brits. We knew it would come in.
She was back to Brett Society.
And wearing the colours, mate. He's got the England shirt on. He's ready for war.
I love Matt, and Matt knows I respect him till the heavens. But I just want to say, to all my American brothers and sisters out there, you're not the only place that exists in the sphere that rotates. Just want to check that out there real quick. Also, Savannah Marshall was headlining shows, right? Albeit in the North, but she was actually headlining shows and doing her thing. All right, sparking out people that the GOAT, and I love Clarissa Shields. I actually speak to the GOAT, and I have a vast admiration. And if you listen to my content and the shit that I do, thank you, production. Thank you. Shout out to my guy Salita as well. you will know. I love the quote. I will not stand the blasphemousness of what you're saying against Savannah Marshall, bro. She was punching up chicks, bro. Okay. What do you mean?
You feel that fight was closer than people made out, Rico?
Let me correct Rico real quick, okay? Because listen, I'm a little bit older than Rico, okay? And I am old enough to remember when Savannah Marshall
I'm 24.
turned pro. Yeah, well, I'm a lot older than you then. But I am old enough to remember when Savannah
Nearly double
Marshall
your age, Rico.
turned pro. So here's the
I
thing
respect
about
my
that.
elders. Sorry.
Lest we forget, the UK shunned Savannah Marshall when she turned pro. Okay, Savannah Marshall turned pro in America. Okay, Savannah Marshall was one of the few Floyd Mayweather proteges in the U.S. Okay, it wasn't until she started building her name off of
that just proves my point.
No, hold on. It wasn't until she started building her name off of Clarissa Shields that the UK got behind her. Because if there's one thing the UK had been trying to get over us since 1776, you guys have
the Revolutionary War.
You guys have been trying to get back at America. So once she started building her
name, no, wait. Who's doing the sound effects? Are we allowed to do that?
There, bro. You've been hit with a
There's no. I'm sorry that you're.
This is our talk USA, by the way. USA.
For polite of a better term, fucking rejects that we didn't want back over here. That you've obviously created your own civilization, albeit incredible. Loads of people do it, and I'm very happy for you. In terms of what you're saying,
Canadians involved.
They would have to be relevant to the conversation for Canadians.
Agent of chaos.
In terms of what the kind gentleman over there was saying, that just personifies the greatness of a Savannah Marshall in the fact that she was with the Mayweather, and then she's building her name off of the. Obviously, when you beat somebody, when you clap them up in the Olympics, bro, and I hate to just this type of rhetoric against the GOAT. I love Clarissa. I'm going to take all of that back. When Savannah had beaten her in single combat in the Olympics, according to the judges, that was the 1-0, and her coming over to the UK because it was more financially. I love her. She came over to the UK because she knew that she was going to make She knew she was going to make more money, right? And that's because of the star power of Savannah Marshall, and that's that. And I would just like to say again, I love the GOAT, but I can't hear just this ill will from our people over the pond for Savannah Marshall. It's just not right.
Can I ask you a question, Rico, real quick? Who wins the decider? They've got one each, one in the pros, one in the amateurs. When they meet in the cage, who wins, Sav or the GOAT?
He's only going to say one thing. Come on.
Yeah, but I want to hear it from him. He's wearing an England shirt. He's representing. I want to hear it from Rico himself.
Okay,
sorry guys.
It's hard talk, mate. We're allowed to swear. Fuck
we
it.
Got an under 18 son.
Look,
here. You're fine.
I will be behind Savannah Marshall, but I cannot question or underwhelm the greatness of the GOAT. I feel like America does not.
I'm glad you said
put that woman on more of a pedestal as she should be. It's exemplary that her achievements.
100%.
If there was a message for America, and if we counted Canada as a real place, check yourselves before you wreck yourselves, because you're never going to get such a talent like that again.
Big up that, man. Canada
is a beautiful land.
Talking of Canada, Mr. Styles representing Canada. Have you got a rebuttal from my English patriot friend here, Enrico?
About the Savannah Marshall thing?
Yes,
No,
sir.
about Canada not being a real place.
And big up to Alex Sankey in the chat while we're
Big
at
up,
it.
Alex the
On you
Great.
go, Mr. Styles. On you
But
go.
okay, and also as the person who watches all forms of combat sports, I feel like, and look, if you beat someone in the amateurs, that's still a win. Like, doesn't matter. Like, people, I've heard people talk about wins that happened 10 or so years ago, and they're still living off of it to this day, like, and everything else. So really, if Savannah Marshall beating Clarissa Shields, that gave Clarissa Shields the drive to be who she is today, because really at the end of it, that was probably eating away at her, whether she wants to admit it or not. That was eating away at her at some capacity, and she wanted to get that fight back. She wanted to get that fight back. So I think Savannah Marshall is very underrated when it comes to like her win over Clarissa Shields in the amateurs, and Clarissa Shields got the win back in boxing in the pros. But I feel like as far as the trilogy fight goes, and I've seen the highlights from Clarissa Shields' fights in MMA.
Malik.
Yeah, I just like I was impressed. I was very impressed by Savannah Marshall's debut. So I feel like Savannah chins her in MMA. Knockout.
Oh, big show, big show. Viso, you're a fan of Clarissa Shields, the GOAT. Where do you stand?
That's unfounded. Unfounded. No.
Oh, is that
not
unfounded?
confirmed.
Sorry, that was a Rico slur. Right.
I mean, she's nice, but like I'm not really that much of a fan. But you know, I really don't have much of an opinion on her. I mean, look, they had to merge in a division, light heavyweight with heavyweight, just to give her, that recognition as a heavyweight champion. And
yeah,
I think it's important that she stays where the competition is at, where I think it can percolate and she could build her resume from that. Because as despite of all the accolades, right, I feel like, her competition is kind of lacking compared to the other fighters from smaller weight classes who have the benefit of fighting fighters that are proven, have been in there, have much more championship experience, world championship fights experience. And I think that's important, for fans to really make the claim that she's the GOAT. And I still think the jury's still out on that, because, you know what I mean? Because let's face it, man, the GOAT thing, that's his derivative of Muhammad Ali, right? And Muhammad Ali, he lost some, but he won many. He beat his contemporaries. He beat great fighters, man. And that's something that Clarissa is missing. I think she doesn't have as many bodies as possible to be considered as such. But I understand the marketing ploy of it. She's entertaining, in and out of the ring. But I just think she needs to fight better fighters, man. But as far as Savannah, I don't really know what's going on with her boxing career. I've seen her, switch from MMA back to boxing and all that stuff. And I think that comes down to how much people are investing in women's boxing. And I think Ebony Bridges touched on that. Like, she feels like, we're not getting enough, we're not getting out there as much because people are not investing in as much money into women's boxing. And she has a point there, but that has to come from a grassroots interest from the fans who want to see you fight. And unfortunately, I don't think there's much of a market for them here. Matt even said that, a while ago. People here don't give a fuck about women's boxing. That's the truth. And I think it comes down to really how you sell yourself, how you relate to the fans, and can you find a contemporary that can really challenge you and really give you, the fight of your life that people can really see, i.e., Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Even though they didn't hate each other, but the competition was fierce, man, and it got people talking. It actually created a buzz, and that's few and far between the women. That's few and far between the women's boxing. That's all I got on that.
I'm just gonna say, Jams. I think he's gone there. I was gonna say to Jams, he's one of Carissa's biggest fans. Very much a voice for the GOAT, and what she's achieved. I get what you're saying about the standard of level of competition, especially when 6 of those fights were vacants, along with 3 inaugural belts where the opposition weren't considered elite by any standard. But Matt's gone now. So we're going to close the show in a minute. Mr. Styles, you seem to be the last man standing among the man that we can see visually. You know, is Caressa's Shield quite right in what she says, bearing in mind what we've seen of her so far? And one question I've got to put to you guys: you've all seen her pick up 2 belts, one at light heavyweight and one at heavyweight, but they're both the same weight. So that's a bit of a
clusterfuck.
Yeah. Now we got a comment from Malik Brown in the chat there. If Ronda Rousey did half of what Shields had done, would we not be talking about her competition? This is actual racism. No, it's not racism. It's objectiveness. We've got to look at. I'm the last person that will be racist to anybody. The objectiveness in the level of competition is the fact that determines the GOAT status, well, certainly amongst men. If you look at the resume, Floyd Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather, the greatest fighter of a generation of 3 or something like that, he fought 22 champions. For me, you can't compare women's boxing to men's in terms of achievement. But what I will say is, you can only beat what's put in front of you. Now, the GOAT status for me is just a status. It's not something you can brand, you can own, because that's temporary. You're here temporary. The status itself is objective. It moves on from boxer to boxer according to the competition and their achievements. But the one thing I can't take away from Caressa is she's been there. She's been her fantastic team behind her have got her the fights that she wanted. They've got her all the belts that she could fight for. She's won them. She's retained her belts on numerous occasions. She is a star. But what I will say is there's other boxers out there with fantastic statistics. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from that. On you go, mate.
Yeah, man. I've seen the comparison. I heard him. You read a comment from Malik saying that comparing Clarissa to Ronda Rousey
about this. Yeah.
I mean, look, Ronda Rousey fought for the UFC. The UFC is a single brand of MMA that is massive,
she also
right?
do that program as well, the UFC Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, she did that too. I mean, she's marketable. So there's a difference here, though. Like, the UFC has a built-in fan base, whereas boxing is kind of scattered. Like, you can't compare Salida Promotions to UFC. You just can't. It's just 2 different ballparks, man. And if you're able to be more commercially viable, then yeah, more people that don't even follow the sport can mess with you. But like, that's not the case with Clarissa. I mean,
she sold out the Flint theater or the auditorium. She's done that on the last 2 occasions. Why do we automatically think she wouldn't sell? Maybe a Vegas card or a New York card.
Perhaps maybe she's not in a big enough stage, neutral. Because look at Katie Taylor. Look at when I've seen her fights on Anthony Joshua's cards, and those cards are massive. Mad people are watching it, So the platform is to me is what's important. That's able to expose you to a larger crowd. You know what I mean? And she should have, instead of like I don't know, like denigrating Amanda Serrano, her peers, and all that stuff. She should be congratulating them and also ingratiating herself with other promoters who might put them in a bigger stage. Like, I don't know, maybe Jake Paul, because he got a thing going on with her, with Amanda Serrano, putting them in a big stage, and not like in Dallas. Yeah, Eddie Hearn, those guys. It's important that you don't burn bridges, in order to maintain a profile. So
let me ask you a question, Viso.
Yeah.
If Caressa Shields was white, would there be a difference?
I think there would be more people talking about her because, people do buy with their eyes, man. There is a racial component to it, but again, platform matters. The way you sell yourself matters. The way you conduct yourself matters. Ronda Rousey, she came off as a fucking bitch in the end, and to me, she didn't came off as likable near the end of her run, even in WWE.
Well, look at Michaela Mayer. She keeps losing, yet she's still got a massive following. So I guess, in a sense, it could be true.
I don't know about that because, listen, she had to go to the UK to get
two times.
Yeah, and again, Americans do not care about women's boxing because if that was the case, she wouldn't be fighting in the UK. Jams.
That's true. Yeah, it's more cared about over here for sure.
Well, look, we got Malik. He's he seems to be very, very animated in the chat there. Now we're being accused of being clueless. Malik, come in and speak what you've got to say on it. Now, I would have thought that Caressa Shields is currently a megastar in women's boxing.
She's the greatest woman of all time.
Do you think, Jams, from where we are over the pond, we don't see the US political society other than what we see on Twitter and on our TVs from over here in the UK. It's very difficult for us to comment on the social demographics of sport in America.
They're not backing one of their own who's a great.
Exactly.
Basically.
So we're going to have to rely on our American friends to enlighten us on this.
Yeah.
Because it is a touchy subject and hard questions need to be asked. Hence why we call Hard Talk. Now, Mr. Styles, do you believe that Caressa Shields is being held back by institutional racism within American and the boxing community worldwide?
And tell the truth, mate, it won't be held against you.
No.
Do you genuinely believe that's what it is?
No.
Or is it just that she lacks the pop to get people excited?
The second part, Jams. The second part,
lacks
because
the pop to get people excited. She's not excited enough.
Yeah, because you look at for example, Amanda Serrano, and even a former undisputed champion in the First Lady, welterweight Celia. They got people interested, and they weren't white. They get people interested. They get people excited for the fights, especially Amanda Serrano. I mean, she wanted to show that she was versatile, so she goes to MMA. She comes back to boxing, and especially when it comes to the Katie Taylor thing, many people don't know. I feel like there was already a storyline that people didn't talk about. Katie Taylor holds a win over Amanda Serrano's sister, Cindy Serrano. So it's like that writes itself right there. That to me, when they were getting ready to fight, I'm like, build it off of that. Amanda Serrano seeking revenge first, build off that. You could make a story.
Yeah, but what does Caressa actually lack then? In those terms, she's a very animated,
a very big rival. I feel like a very big rival within at least the American boxing community. I mean, she was even trying to pick a fight with Layla Ali. We're talking about Muhammad Ali. She was trying to pick a fight with Layla Ali.
She was calling out Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano the other day.
So it seems to be. But wouldn't that be the same had it been a white boxer of similar success? So I'm trying to.
They usually have a rival, though, Nutriman.
Understand what Malik is saying in the chat. So you have to tell me, is the competition there, whether you're black, white, or other racial?
It doesn't matter what colour she is. It's just because she's so good, there's no one that can compete with her.
I mean, look, we want to talk about rivals. Even like Ebony Bridges wants to say like, oh, she's not getting fights, this and that, because
she's a joke.
I'm like,
she's a joke.
But Jams, but that's what I'm saying. We're talking off of like the Carissa Shields thing. She wants to talk about she's not getting fights. She doesn't have like top rivals. It's all about how you sell yourself and how you act outside of the ring. If you don't conduct yourself in a manner outside of the ring, people are not going to take you seriously. Like I've been saying, reason why she probably hasn't been booked in fights, injuries aside, because granted, she was injured those times, Ebony Bridges. So I'll give her that. All those injuries aside, she's making people trying to look like creeps online whenever she weighs in at the weigh-ins in her underwear. She's trying to make them look like creeps. I'm like, you're burning. That's how you burn bridges. That's why Eddie Hearn hasn't booked you in God knows how long. I mean,
I lost some of my good friends because of it. I lost some of my good friends because I made a simple comment.
But don't you think that's bringing in more attention to the sport?
Yeah, I was going to say, it certainly brings in the fellow men, Mr. Styles.
Yeah, but is it the right kind of eyes you want on the sport?
That's it. Yeah, now, listen, guys, I've got 5 minutes left. I just want to get in a couple more points.
All right.
Remember, come on, we're doing a watch along tomorrow night, main event. Me and Jams, Mr. Styles, you're welcome to come along. Viso as well. A bit like tonight, open forum for the big night.
It'll be around which will be 4 a.m. I'm led to believe, Mr. Neutral, about half 4.
But I'm actually
no.
Well, hopefully you guys don't fall asleep like the people in Manchester did for that UFC card.
I'm hoping.
Don't worry about
I'm actually. I'm hoping Al Heyman.
Mr. Neutral.
I'm hoping Al Heyman is up for a long night tomorrow night, so we can actually do all the fights. Imagine that, the whole card on one watch along with you guys. Obviously, you can come in and out as you go. We'll marathon it, relay. You know how it goes. It'll be
time are you starting, Mr. Neutral? What time
a
are you
barnstormer.
Which fight are you going to start it on?
All this will be revealed in the next 24 hours.
Yeah,
well
good,
before
mate.
the fight.
Let me know, because obviously,
but I would imagine the card, because it's LA. LA is like 8 hours behind us.
The Pirates are down.
The Pirates are down. 8 hours
that's
behind us.
Piracy down. Buys up. Okay, support the sport.
So I would imagine it's going to be like 6 a.m. ring walk for the main event in the UK, maybe later.
So you'll probably start around 3:30, 4.
I'm going to get the Class A drugs ready, along with all my alcohol for tomorrow night.
Yes, I'll be looking for a bottle of Terramana, the best tequila out there.
I'll be looking for
to England real quick, please.
Is that any good? Is that Terramana any good? Because I've never tried. I can't find it.
I'm gonna look for a bottle, and I'm gonna try to buy a bottle for myself.
It's a special occasion. For me, it's America's best card in many a year. Listen, I want to thank every single one of you guys for bringing yourselves into the space today. Big up Viso, big up Mr. Styles, big up Remy, Matt Brunch Boxing, Rico No Smoke Boxing, and Jams, my co-host tonight, as usual. Big up to you, sir. Much love.
Okay, fellas.
Stick with us for a while. Production, take us out. I just want to say this show again was sponsored by D-Rock Apparel. Oh, fantastic stuff. And if you, ladies and gentlemen, if you look through the catalogue, you do find some of you like. Don't forget, iBoxingHub 24 is in the promo code 40% off and all that quality gear. Once again, thank you, gentlemen. I'm Mr. Neutral. This has been Hard Talk USA. Once again, episode 14, Riyadh season, the beginning. We have Turkey Al Sheikh making his maiden voyage into the USA tomorrow night. Will it be a success? I really think so. I think it's the best card in years in America. And I hope you guys join us tomorrow night and we'll have a ball. See you soon.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. Light up my card with a sweet one.